We're counting down the 100 greatest Hallmark Christmas movies of all time from 100 all the way to number 1. Throughout the series, we'll revisit each movie's story, discuss why it earned a spot on our list, and highlight the moments that have made it a favorite among Hallmark Christmas fans. You'll also hear from my fellow Hallmark podcasters and YouTubers as they share their thoughts on the movie, its placement, and if I lost my freaking mind. If you're just joining this series, I encourage you to start from the beginning. And if you enjoy Christmas content all year long, then click on that subscribe button. You're probably tired of drinking cocoa, and you're probably getting a little stir-crazy, but let's continue the countdown with numbers 40 through 41. Christmas Waltz. Lacey Chabert plays Avery, the woman who's dumped by her insensitive fiancé a month before their wedding. To forget her troubles, she decides to take the ballroom lessons originally intended for the wedding dance. There, she meets studio owner Roman, who talks her into taking the dance lessons on her own to challenge her and lift her spirits. When Roman's dance partner can't be part of the big Christmas showcase at the end, Avery steps in. For me, some of Lacey's strongest performances comes when she plays a woman who's uncertain about themselves and slowly grows into their confidence. Avery fits that perfectly. She's vulnerable and hesitant, someone who avoids taking risks. Through Roman and dancing, she begins to see who she can become. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is when Roman brings Avery to his family's Christmas gathering. It's a refreshing, real, loud, chaotic Italian family celebration, packed into a tiny little home or apartment. Avery meets Roman's mom, who immediately puts her to work in the kitchen, and the whole sequence feels cozy and lived in. They're not wealthy or glamorous, but the joy around that crowded dining room table makes it one of the film's most memorable Christmas moments. Right after that, the movie shifts into one of the most charming sequences. Avery and Roman dancing through the streets with an umbrella to let it snow. It's playful, it's lighthearted, and it feels like a nod to Singing in the Rain. It's a fun break from the main story that gives this film even more personality. The film builds to a beautiful ballroom showcase finale, ending with a sweeping dance sequence and, of course, that final kiss. Christmas Waltz feels unique among these Hallmark Christmas movies. It steps outside many of the channel's usual formulas, but still delivers all the warmth and romance that we love. Even if dance movies aren't usually your thing, this one is easy to enjoy. Helped by a genuine terrific performance from Lacey Chabert, you can tell that she's having fun with this role, and that energy carries throughout the entire film.
So the Christmas Waltz, you have to take it a little bit into context with it being released in 2020. For all of us that were craving entertainment and Hallmark movies in 2020, to get a movie that is this escapist, this sweet, this magical, was something extra special. And somebody that I love Broadway, I love show tunes, I love musicals. To get a little piece of that in a Hallmark movie was really special. I mean, to have Lacey Chabert dancing down the street like she's in a Gene Kelly movie was really fun. And of course, Will Kemp, he is a trained ballet dancer. You couldn't ask for anybody better. And I really appreciate, like I said, especially in 2020, that the movie allowed for a little bit of whimsy and didn't take itself as seriously as sometimes these movies do, and just had some magic in dancing down the street at Christmas.
39. Project Christmas Wish. Lucy's passion is Project Christmas Wish, the holiday initiative she created to grant Christmas wishes for people in her town. This year, the project focuses on 8-year-old Max, whose wish is to bring back the joyful Christmas memories she shared with her late mother. Along the way, Lucy unexpectedly discovers that her own wish may be coming true when she meets Max's father, Lucas. 2020 was a pivotal year for Hallmark, and one of its brightest surprises was Project Christmas Wish. As Lucy works to make Max's wish come true, she sees a little of herself in Max. In the process, she forms a connection with Lucas that leads both of them to rethink what they really want out of life, and whether Lucas is ready to move on from the death of his wife. Amanda Schull is fantastic as Lucy, and I still don't understand why Hallmark didn't cast her in more movies. She brings so much warmth and sincerity to the role, and you completely believe in Lucy's passion for helping others. Travis Van Winkle, who usually isn't one of my favorites, gives one of the strongest performances here. He brings real vulnerability to Lucas as a man still carrying the grief of losing his wife. Together, they have an easy, believable chemistry that feels genuine from the start. But the standout performance belongs to young Avery Peters as Max. She gives an outstanding child performance that completely wins you over. Yes, Max knows exactly how to work her dad, but that final smile on her face when her wishes come true is what makes this whole movie feel magical and worth the watch.
And I just want to say thank you to everyone for helping make my Project Christmas wish come true. But really want something else, like how I wish for a Christmas like it used to. What I really wanted was to not feel sad anymore, because now I know that being sad sometimes is a part of it, because it makes the happy times even more happy. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
38. A Grand Ole Opry Christmas. Gentry Wade, daughter of late country star Jet Wade, walked away from music after his tragic accident 30 years ago. When the Grand Ole Opry invites her to honor him at his Christmas centennial, she reluctantly returns, only to be magically transported back to 1995 while sitting in the Opry's pew. Joined there by her lifelong friend Mac, played by Christopher Palaha, Gentry gets unexpected time with her father, finds inspiration to finish the song she started as a teen, and uncovers the long-awaited answers about his life and legacy.
Your daddy, is he a good daddy?
The best.
I hope my daughter one day thinks of me that way.
She will.
It took Hallmark far too long to finally pair Nikki DeLoach and Christopher Palaha. They're both excellent, and I wish we had more scenes with them together. Instead, most of the story follows Nikki's character, Gentry, traveling back in time to see her late father. If there's one thing Nikki absolutely nails in her Christmas movies, it's mourning a dead relative. And those scenes work well, even if Christopher mostly feels along for the ride. Even though I'm not a country music fan, I really did enjoy this movie. I love time travel stories, and this one handled the mechanics pretty well, but I think they really fumbled the ending. Gentry's whole arc is about struggling to pursue her musical dreams. She wouldn't even stand in the stage circle until she felt she earned it. Yet at the end, older Vaughn brings out Brad Paisley to perform her song instead of letting her sing it. Still, even with an ending that doesn't quite stick the landing, the pairing of Nikki DeLoach and Christopher Palaha combined with a time travel storyline and the Grand Ole Opry setting makes this one of Hallmark's strongest recent Christmas movies, and an easy choice for a spot on this list.
Hey y'all, let's talk about A Grand Ole Opry Christmas. I am 100% biased about this movie because, hey, we live in Nashville, Tennessee. My dad was the drummer in a country music band in the 90s, and that's what brought us here. So I definitely was interested to see how the 90s country music era would be portrayed. It could have been really hokey and cheesy, and I am thrilled with the care and attention that they paid to this movie. This movie nailed so much of the history, the fashion, and showed a lot of respect for the country music world.
This is one of the most incredibly directed, thank you Claire Niederpruem, one of the most incredibly acted, thank you Christopher Palaha and Nikki DeLoach of course, and of course the other leading cast members, but also like one of the most epic Hallmark cameo cast appearances we have, and also one of those two building on different kinds of love stories. Yes, you have Nikki and Chris Palaha definitely bringing the heat with their romantic feels, but this is one of the sweetest stories we actually get where the leading love story is between a father and a daughter. If you know Nikki DeLoach's story at all, she truly felt like this was, I got a wink, that this was a love letter to her father, her late father. Incredible music, incredible writing for this whole movie, and this is truly going to be one of the legendary Hallmark Christmas movies of all time.
37. The Christmas House. Two grown sons come home for Christmas to revive the family's beloved tradition of turning their home into the Christmas house, decked out from top to bottom for the holidays. As Mike, a TV actor, reconnects with his high school friend Andy, and Brandon and his husband Jake continue their journey toward adoption, the family reconnects and celebrates their Christmas tradition. The Christmas House broke new ground. While there's a classic Hallmark rom-com story of Mike reconnecting and building a relationship with his childhood friend Andy, we also get a first for the channel, a gay relationship. After Bill Abbott left Hallmark, the channel expanded to be more inclusive. Jonathan Bennett, who had been with the channel for a decade, is a gay actor. For years, he portrayed many female love interests. With Bill Abbott gone, Jonathan was able to persuade the channel to explore a gay relationship in The Christmas House. It was a big leap for Hallmark, and it paid off. Not only did most viewers not care, but it showed a family acceptance and have led to more queer stories to be told. As important as this story is, the real stars of the movie, though, are Treat Williams and Sharon Lawrence. As the parents to both Mike and Brandon, they are the reason for the tradition of the Christmas house and remind us about the importance of family.
This one combines a lot of things that I wish Hallmark would do better consistently, but they do them right here. First of all, the comedy really lands. The idea that Robert Buckley, is the star of this ridiculous TV show where he plays a handsome lawyer, they go right into the show. Like, I can't even tell you how daring it is for a Hallmark movie to not start with the usual sort of like shots of New York City, but instead take us right into this TV show. It's a bold gambit for this network and very funny, and it pays off throughout the movie. And then you get this really great relationship with Jonathan Bennett and his partner and their attempts to adopt a child. This is the first big gay kiss we get in a Hallmark movie, and they do that right. You also get this wonderful subplot involving Treat Williams and Sharon Lawrence as the parents. All in all, this movie delivers on all fronts. It's a great romance, several great romances, in fact, some really charming comedy, some lovely supporting performances. Yeah, it's all there.
36. Holiday Touchdown, a Chiefs love story. Kansas City Chiefs superfan Alana, played by Hunter King, and her family are the front runners in a contest to win the label Fans of the Year. Derek, played by Tyler Hines, is the director of fan engagement, tasked with evaluating the family who believes that wearing her grandfather's magical Winter's Chief hat will lead to a Super Bowl victory. In 2024, Hallmark promoted the hell out of this movie. In partnership with the NFL, it was a gamble. Would it live up to the hype? Luckily, it did. What makes this movie work better than so many other Hallmark movies is good writing by Julie Sherman-Wolf and a spectacular cast. The secondary cast of Diedrich Bader, Megan Price, and Ed Begley Jr. makes you care about this family. The moment that this movie had me was the scene where Derek presents the stadium seats that Paul and his wife shared for decades. Ed Begley Jr. as Paul sits down with Hunter King and just crushes the moment, remembering his wife and sharing the moment with his granddaughter.
Hey, is it okay if I sit in Grandma Patty's seat?
Of course. I was just sitting here thinking of all the wonderful memories we've had over the years. And it all started right here. Your grandma be so proud of you. I miss her so much.
I miss her too, Grandpa.
If there's one reason to watch this movie, it's that scene.
Let's go Chiefs!
I don't care about football, and I roll my eyes when I see superfans go over the top and rooting for their favorite team. That being said, though, this movie is an important film in Hallmark's history, not only because of the NFL tie-in, but also because it actually worked.
This one's probably going to fall a little bit lower in the rankings for me than it does for you, but it's still a standout movie. I think this really represents an interesting partnership between Hallmark Channel and other business entities. And I thought going into it that it was going to be kind of a throwaway movie, but the fact that it was such an integrated business partnership for these two companies, but still such a good movie, I think really does it a service. I thought Tyler and Hunter were great in their lead roles, and I think this really did a good job of capturing the Chiefs' culture in Kansas City, and I liked it.
Let's go Chiefs! I'm Alonso Duralde, author of Have Yourself a Movie Little Christmas, a guide to more than 100 holiday favorites across all genres. You can also hear me on the Maximum Film, Breakfast All Day, Linoleum Knife, and Deck the Hallmark podcasts.
'35. Haul Out the Holly, Light It Up. Lacey Chabert and Wes Brown return as Emily and Jared in the 2023 sequel to Haul Out the Holly. On Evergreen Lane, the neighborhood is counting down to Christmas when a house of the cul-de-sac goes up for sale. sending the residents into a panic. Things get even more chaotic when the Jolly Johnsons, a reality TV family known for their over-the-top holiday celebrations, moves in and divides the neighborhood. The Haul Out the Holly movies can be divisive among Hallmark fans, but I'm always happy to see a silly Christmas comedy that feels different from the usual lineup. What really makes these films work is the cast. Melissa Peterman, Stephen Tobolowsky, and Ellen Travolta have fantastic chemistry, and their scenes together are consistently hilarious. And credit where it's due. This is a Hallmark sequel that actually works. Too often, Hallmark sequels lean on breakups and unnecessary romantic conflict. Haul Out the Holly avoids that trap. While Emily and Jared's relationship is still part of the story, it takes a back seat to the larger ensemble comedy and the absurd holiday antics on Evergreen Lane. I'm still hoping for one more Christmas visit with the Evergreen Lane crew, ideally with a surprise performance or cameo from Chad Kroeger of Nickelback. I can't believe I'm saying that, but that's how fun these movies are. I want to see Nickelback in a Hallmark movie. 34. The 5-Year Christmas Party. Alice, played by Kate Findlay, is a struggling college student drawn to Max, a fellow aspiring actor played by Jordan Fisher. She takes a holiday job of a catering company, unaware that Max works there too. Over the next 5 years, the two reconnect year after year, sometimes as friends, sometimes as something more. 2022 Sealed with a List introduced me to Kate Findlay, and they quickly became one of my favorite newer Hallmark stars. Pairing them with Jordan Fisher was a great choice. Their chemistry feels natural from the start and only grows stronger as the story unfolds. What I love most about this movie is how grounded it feels. It's not about saving a bakery or planning the perfect Christmas event, it's about life. It's about chasing careers, struggling to find your footing, maintaining relationships, and figuring out love while everything else is in motion. The romance isn't rushed, and neither character is asked to give up their ambitions for this relationship. The 5-Year Christmas Party feels more realistic than any other movie on this list. Most relationships don't come together in a few weeks. They take time, effort, missed chances, and reconnection. That kind of realism may not be a classic Hallmark formula, but here it makes the story even more compelling.
I kind of think this should be ranked maybe a little bit higher than 34. I just think it's such a unique concept that when I remember, before I watched it the first time, like not really knowing what to expect, but the actors, while I was not really familiar with the two leads beforehand, absolutely blew me away. The story, I found it to be quite a bit more complex than your average Hallmark movie, and genuinely from year to year waiting for the next Christmas party that the characters would be catering. I was really on the edge of my seat seeing how it would go, seeing how their relationship would transpire after so much time. Just such a unique, fun concept.
This is an example of Hallmark taking hot young talent and new and inventive scripts and just making it work. This narrative structure is not something that we have seen on Hallmark up until this point, and we haven't seen it again, which is a shame, and it just works. The script is tight, it's funny, it assumes that its audience is competent, and it's what Hallmark should keep trying to do.
33. Love at the Thanksgiving Day Parade. Emily, the organizer of Chicago's Thanksgiving Day Parade, is furious when Henry, a consultant, is brought in to take charge of the event's finances, thinking he doesn't really care about the parade and is only interested in profit. When the parade suffers an unexpected setback, she finds support in her previously unwanted colleague and begins to fall for him. So the big question about this movie, is it a Christmas film or Thanksgiving? Because if it's not a Christmas film, then should it be on this list? Well, after rewatching it, I can easily say that while it takes place at Thanksgiving, there's enough Christmas in this movie to justify its placement. The movie is also really good. Autumn Reeser makes her Hallmark debut here, and I remember being struck of how good she is when it premiered by how much I wanted to see more of her in the Hallmark world. She's instantly charming and completely owns the screen. Her chemistry with Antonio Cupo is fantastic, and the movie also gives us something Hallmark doesn't always allow. Emily gets drunk.
Think you can fill me with champagne and seduce me. You think that because you rescued me and you're so handsome and cute and handsome that I will just fall into your arms and kiss you. Well, think again, bucko.
Emily,
She sings karaoke, dances. It's fun, it's awkward, and it's human. That's how people sometimes act. This is early Hallmark, so while it still follows the familiar formula, it feels a little looser and more willing to let its characters be imperfect. That's part of what makes this such a memorable entry on this list.
This is the movie that I show people when they say they want to understand the real Hallmark. I don't show them the good stuff, I show them the stuff that is so bad it's good. This has everything. One of their most iconic villains, a crazy twist, and it's about the Thanksgiving Day Parade. Not really the real Thanksgiving Day Parade because, you know, it's Hallmark, but close enough. And that's just something that only Hallmark can do.
32. Christmas in Evergreen. Hoping to move to Washington, D.C., Allie, played by Ashley Williams, is preparing to close her veterinarian practice and start a whole new life with her longtime boyfriend. What she doesn't expect is that the town of Evergreen isn't ready to let her go. When Ryan, played by Teddy Sears, arrives in town with his daughter Zoe makes a wish on Evergreen's magical snow globe for Allie to have the best Christmas ever. In 2017, Christmas in Evergreen broke new ground for Hallmark. As its center is the love story between Ashley Williams' Allie, who attempts to leave her hometown and building a future somewhere new, giving us the opposite of the traditional Hallmark trope of returning to your small hometown. Teddy Sears' Ryan, whose unexpected arrival in Evergreen begins to change all of her plans with a little help from Zoe's Christmas wish, the town seems determined to keep Ryan and his daughter from leaving for Florida and to bring her and Allie together. But that movie is more than just essential romance. We're also introduced to Evergreen's memorable supporting cast, including Michelle, played by Holly Robinson Peete, who's planning the annual Christmas festival, Mayor Ezra, who seems intent on making her job harder, and Hannah, played by Rukia Bernard, whose search for love will conclude in future sequels. Christmas in Evergreen is an ensemble movie I've always thought might have worked better as a series. Still, what makes it memorable is Evergreen itself, the ultimate Hallmark Christmas town, a magical place where wishes come true, where holiday spirits fill every corner, and where the single road into town feels designed to not just welcome visitors, but to trap them from leaving.
Christmas in Evergreen is a classic, adorable tale of a small town girl who's going to make the leap to the big city to be with her big city business boyfriend, but she's torn until an outsider comes into town with his adorable daughter and turns her world around like a shaken snow globe. Pun intended. Ashley Williams is my queen. She is the epitome of grace and charm and spunk in this role. She's never been better, and she really rocks a red pea cup too.
So Ashley Williams has always been incredibly likable, and you've got Teddy Sears, who, as a comic book geek, I knew from The Flash. He was Zoom, one of the great villains of that series. So seeing him trade supervillain speed for Christmas romance is actually pretty fun. And the whole Evergreen series, of course, is now its own little Hallmark universe. I gotta say, it's a great place to start, and the chemistry these two have, I think, is genuinely entertaining and thrilling.
We get the fantasy of the town that really loves Christmas, the town that, gathers around and does Christmas hard, in a lot of these movies. But there's something about the Evergreen movies, both Christmas and Evergreen and most of the sequels, that really kind of nails a place that you wish you could go at the holiday season. You want to hang out with these people. You want to be in this town. And, Ashley Williams is such a great lead, so funny, and knows how to nail that pivot between the comedy and the romance, the taking it seriously while understanding that it's all absurd. I wish Teddy Sears would come back as the romantic lead for her in these. We're not just getting her, but we're also getting all of these wonderful townspeople, including Barbara Niven, who's one of my favorites, Holly Robinson Peete, and a lot of faces that will pop up over and over again over the course of the franchise. It's really sweet. If you're a fan of the vintage red pickup truck with the Christmas tree in the back, this is the movie for you. It's practically the film version of that ornament.
I mean, what can I say that hasn't already been said? This is iconic. The word might be overused. I've probably overused it in this special, but this one is it. Who watches this and doesn't instantly want to go to Evergreen? When I watch these movies, I want to watch something like I can vicariously be there and live through the characters. Well, sign me up to go to Evergreen every Christmas for the rest of my life. It looks amazing. Talk about a snow globe town. That looks amazing. The people there look amazing. The food, the diner, the snow, everything. I know they had some sequels that people didn't love. There's a Hat Factory. Nobody wants to spend Christmas in a Hat Factory. But Christmas in Evergreen won, and I'll even give you number 2. Fantastic. Love it. That's what these movies are all about.
31. We Met in December. In recent years, Hallmark has been branching out with fresher Christmas story ideas, and it's paying off. We Met in December takes the classic Misconnection setup and gives it a unique Hallmark twist using flashbacks to unfold the magical night Annie and Dave first met. Autumn Reeser and Neil Mater have such effortless chemistry that you almost question why their characters didn't spend the whole night together. But this is Hallmark, not real life. You just have to accept that somehow they didn't exchange numbers before Dave stepped onto that elevator. What he does manage, though, is realizing he has to kiss Annie before he goes to his room, resulting in one of the best Hallmark kisses ever. The film spends a fair amount of time showing both leads moping to their families about the lost connection. But it works because we know a reunion is coming. My biggest issue is how they finally reconnect. After another failed attempt to find Annie at the Christmas market, Dave just walks into a church and ends up sitting right behind her. When the congregation turns to greet one another, Annie suddenly discovers Dave. It's sweet. I was hoping for a grander, more cinematic moment. Andy's radio message sets up the perfect opportunity for a big Christmas tree reunion with lights, music, and another memorable kiss. The ending may have been small, but the romance is big. The unique telling of the story through flashbacks kept me focused on the start of a great love story and a wonderful movie for this list.
I have always found the movie Serendipity to be kind of a joke because yes, it's good and it's watchable, but it's also deeply, deeply bad. And somehow, We Met in December took Serendipity and made it warm and inviting and bright. This is the perfect movie to watch while you're decorating your Christmas tree and simmering hot cocoa.
30. Snow Bride. Greta Kane is a tabloid reporter chasing a scoop on the youngest son of Senator Maggie Tannenhill, who's rumored to be engaged. On her way to cover the story, her car breaks down in a snowstorm. After ending up in her friend's wedding dress, she's taken in by the senator's oldest son, Ben, and agrees to pretend to be his girlfriend. As Greta becomes part of the family's Christmas celebration, she begins to feel guilty about the lies that she's telling. Snow Bride is a completely over the top, and that's just part of its appeal. Starring Katrina Law as Greta, it feels like the ideal Hallmark role for her. She has great chemistry with Jordan Belfi as Ben, especially in the quieter scenes between them. The story keeps moving with plenty of conflict from Claire, Ben's ex and the fiance of his younger brother Jared, to a rival reporter trying to beat Greta to the story. Nearly everyone is hiding something, and the movie fully embraces this misunderstanding and deception. For a movie so over the top, why is this film considered high on this list? Because it's very fun. Even in 2013, the movie was unique for its time. For us that grew up in the 80s and 90s, Maggie Tannenhill was portrayed by Home Improvement's Patricia Richardson. When she discovers that Greta was a reporter, Maggie isn't concerned for her privacy. She's more concerned for her son and is what is best for him. Even in Hallmark, Patricia Richardson plays our great mom.
This should be number one on everybody's list. It's number one on my list. It is my all-time favorite Hallmark Christmas movie. And here's why. Katrina Law is absolutely captivating in this role, and I'm so sad she's no longer doing Hallmark movies on the network because I would watch all of them and be obsessed with all of them. We get a family who are like modern-day Kennedys, and also the mom is the same mom from Home Improvement, which is what originally drew my attention to it. The two leads, their chemistry is undeniable.
I remember seeing this one. I was supposed to be at work, but I decided I was going to play hooky, and I just stayed home and watched Hallmark movies all day. It's got Katrina Law, who's just fantastic here. I mean, I loved her in Spartacus and, of course, Arrow. So watching her play, like, you know, this journalist who gets wrapped up in, like, this fake wedding engagement thing and just starts falling for the family that she's covering. I mean, it's really entertaining for a Christmas rom-com. It's funny, it's sweet, and it's got a great cast, too. So I'm all in on this one. I think, actually, as much as I love it, I probably would have put this one a little bit lower.
This movie has every single trope that has literally ever been written and still manages to be one of the most unique and new movies that I've seen on Hallmark. Tracy Ann Breen, who's the writer, she shows us how to make a trope feel new and fun. So when someone says they want a tropey movie, this is what I show them. Because yes, it has everything, but also, it's phenomenal.
Okay, you know what, honey? I don't know what you put in this gingerbread house, but it tastes like concrete.
I need your attention. I have something very important that I want to share with you. Now, it gives me no pleasure to be the bearer of this news, but you've all been lied to.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm with Pepper Tree Villa. We go live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And I also help out the channel by posting random shorts.
#29. Delivered by Christmas. Alvina August plays bakery owner Molly, who becomes attracted to a mysterious new client who she's never met in person, but enjoys texting, sharing recipes, and discussing life. Meanwhile, she also meets Josh, a single dad who's new in town who she doesn't see eye to eye. What Molly doesn't know is that Josh and the client are the same person. Delivered by Christmas is yet another retelling of You Got Mail, which originally was a retelling of Shop Around the Corner. Surprisingly, this movie may be too good for Hallmark. The cast of Alvina August and Ian Bailey are a standout.
But there's something else that you should probably know. Merry Christmas.
I can't believe it's been you the whole time. From the moment I met you, I knew.
There was something about you.
The romance from the very beginning feels different from normal Hallmark movies. Molly and Josh are drawn to each other instantly with the twist that each assumes the other is in a relationship. They'd like to quietly move on, but can't. It's the typical simple misunderstanding, but Alvina August and Ian Bailey handle it so well. #28. Holiday Hotline. After breaking up with her boyfriend, Abby, played by Emily Tennant, moves to Chicago and takes a job working for the Turkey Hotline. Hiding her British accent, Abby calls herself Peggy, making a connection with the turkey cooking challenge John, played by Neil Mater, who she unknowingly is connected to in real life. So when I made this list, I didn't expect to place two movies inspired by Shop Around the Corner back to back. But the basic premise of two people falling for each other through an anonymous connection while unknowingly knowing each other in real life continues to work, and Holiday Hotline keeps that tradition going. This movie is just fun. Abby starts working for the Turkey Hotline around Thanksgiving, and the film leans into the absurdity of the call she receives. It's a nice comedic break from the main story, and placing her in the same location as Abby while she interacts with the callers is creatively shot.
Let's talk turkey.
Can I defrost my turkey on the roof rack of my car? I'm driving from Kenosha to Kalamazoo. Hello? Are you still there?
Can the electric blanket be on high all night long?
Pardon? I'm not sure if my turkey's going to be ready in time.
What state is your turkey in?
Florida?
I also really loved her manager, Roger, played by Eric Abenthal. Instead of chastising Abby for having a romantic conversation while she should be working, he supports it, and he roots for her and John to get together. If I had one nitpick, it's that Neil Mater and Emily Tennant have great chemistry when he's John and she's Peggy. But when they're together in real life as Jack and Abby, the chemistry doesn't quite feel as strong. But when they do discover who each other is, the film hits the landing.
This one is personal to us because we know a couple of the stars in the film. They were the co-stars, but it ended up being a delightful film. I remember us giving it a very high score on our rating on our channel.
Who doesn't like a movie about, how to make a turkey?
Yeah, how to cook.
How to cook. And if you're a foodie, it was just done so well.
Holiday Hotline, let's talk turkey.
27, Dickens of a Holiday. Cassie, played by Brooke D'Orsay, is put in charge of directing A Christmas Carol for the 100th anniversary of her hometown's Victorian Festival. When the actor playing Scrooge loses his voice, the mayor asks Cassie to convince action movie star Jake Dorsey, played by Christopher Palaha, who grew up in the town, to step in. Unsure if Jake is the right person for the role, she is surprised to learn that Jake is eager to show that he is more than just an action star, and wants to prove that he can be a serious actor. So I need to make a confession. When this movie first came out, I hated it. I thought it was cheesy and criticized both Christopher Palaha and Brooke D'Orsay for overacting. But gathering feedback from people on my live broadcasts, I decided to re-watch this movie before adding it to the list.
Yes, a proper Chris Palaha movie that is actually underrated and not just a caricature of one of the most famous actors of the 1940s. Right. And the scene where he kind of finally, there's a breakthrough in the character when he's playing Scrooge is like so wonderful. It's amazing. It is real emotion. This movie has no business working, and against all odds, it works, and it works because of the leads and because Julie Sherman Wolf punched up a script, and it's fantastic, and Chris crushes it and Brooke crushes it, and it's a really good movie.
What I discovered is a solid movie with exceptional acting from Brooke and Christopher. I was wrong.
I'm stupid, you're smart. I was wrong, you were right. You're the best, I'm the worst. You're very good looking, I'm not attractive.
While this list does contain some of my personal favorites, I can't deny that this movie belongs on this list. Is it a movie that I watch every year? Probably not, but it's a movie that is loved by a lot of Hallmark community. Do I believe that Christopher was a cocky action star? Not really, but damn, he's a good Scrooge.
Christmas indeed.
This to me is not only one of my favorite, not just Hallmark Christmas movies, but Hallmark movies ever, but this is one of the most underrated and also underviewed. Like, they do not show this movie enough. You've got Christopher Palaha, Hallmark leading man legend, and again, Brooke D'Orsay, leading lady legend for Hallmark. I don't think anybody watches this movie and just isn't moved and isn't just blown away by Christopher Palaha's presentation of Christopher Palaha and Brooke D'Orsay are an incredible on-screen couple, and you've got him as like this kind of action movie star that now wants to be taken seriously, who gets to go back to his hometown with his family and kind of get in touch with his roots, but then really take on the role that, yes, on stage is portrayed one way, but he starts to really understand the meaning of the character and the transformation, and that's also then reflected in his own life. And then, of course, getting back in touch with his long-lost sort of lady. And this is one that, again, if I ever recommend somebody who's starting on Hallmark movies, this is always one of them that I put on the list, because you honestly wouldn't even know you're watching a Hallmark movie, and I mean that as the highest compliment.
God bless us, everyone!
26. The Santa Claus. The North Santa School is struggling to stay relevant, while the owner's daughter, Kate, played by Kimberly Sustad, has now taken over after her dad's retirement. She reluctantly hires Dan, played by Benjamin Ayres, as a new Santa instructor when they came across an amnesia-stricken Santa Claus. They hope he can regain his memories and allow the Santa School to finally win the Christmas Cup. I love the traditional hot cocoa small town Christmas romance stories, but this is what I look forward to every year from Hallmark: the big magical Santa story. Written by Alexandre Koskos, Joseph Kelby, and Russell Hainline, who has now had an impressive 4 Christmas movies in 2024. Along with the actors, The Santa Claus is a funny magical film that stands out from most of the 50 other Christmas movies from that year. While Kimberly and Benjamin have great chemistry together, the real standouts are the Santa actors. Nick is the perfect Santa, right down to his Santa laugh.
Well, I'll tell you what, Emily, why don't you check in Santa's bag here and see what you find? Is that him?
Be headed your way.
Megan is the no-nonsense female Santa.
Megan Jansen,
Want to be a Santa? That's it.
I hate to interrupt, but wouldn't you traditionally be better suited to be Mrs. Claus?
Don't want to be Mrs. Claus. If I want to be Santa, I will be Santa.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Blaze, Timothy, and Patrick aid in the silliness, and we can't forget about television's Paul Campbell, who clearly embraced his wacky portrayal of himself.
He's gonna wear an outfit like this. Some of it showcases his sleek but well-toned physique that he worked so hard on. He's not eating salads for breakfast 7 days a week for nothing, you know what I mean?
No, I don't actually.
If you enjoy Hallmark Christmas movies and want something that at times breaks the Hallmark formula, then the Santa Claus is right up your alley. We don't get the normal romantic kiss. Instead, we get a full-out make-out scene in a car.
Nick is Santa. We saw the sleigh take off, reindeer and everything.
That's not possible.
Yes, it's true. How could you not tell me? Well, what was I supposed to say? Hey, good morning, you know, and Nick's the real Santa.
What now?
No.
Where did you just come from? Nick's the real Santa.
Oh, no.
They saw the sleigh fly away and everything.
I knew it! I think he knows when you're awake.
Chill out.
This is the biggest discovery in the history of civilization.
Sure, Kate and Dan question if he's the real Santa, but when he's reminded by Mrs. Claus of who he is, he helps the school win the cup and reminds Kate of what matters most. Oh, and television's Paul Campbell loses the role to Andrew Walker. Brilliant.
Call the network. Tell them I'm ready to do Love at the North Pole. What do you mean they gave it to Andrew Walker?
The Santa Claus. It is full of humor, pop culture references, and a top-notch cast. It's an all-around fun time.
Screwball comedy is a toughie for Hallmark. Sometimes they don't often want to get too wacky. I think up until Bill Abbott left the network, there was this dictum that comedies couldn't actually be, funny. But the Santa class is wild, and they take big, wild swings. Every member of that class is incredibly eccentric, up to and including
Paul Campbell. I'm an actor.
Paul Campbell playing a sort of like taking himself way too seriously version of himself. You've got wonderful romantic lead energy coming from Kimberly Susted and Benjamin Ayres. This one I think is a sleeper. It's a real delight. And if you have not checked it out, you're in for a real treat.
25. A Very Merry Mix-Up. Alice is excited to meet her fiancé Will Mitchell's family, but a series of mishaps leads her to the wrong house and the wrong Mitchell family. She quickly bonds with them, especially Matt, who she assumes is Will's brother. But when she discovers the mistake and finally meets Will's real family, she realizes she's not only in the wrong house, but maybe in the wrong relationship too.
This holiday season,
My parents would love to meet the future daughter-in-law.
Alice just made the biggest decision of her life.
I'll be on the next flight, right behind you.
You're not coming?
But sometimes fate has a funny way
I'm Matt.
Alice,
of mixing things up.
I met the most wonderful person in the world, and the timing's all wrong.
So what are you going to do about it? Alicia Witt stars in a Hallmark Channel original movie, A Very Merry Mix-Up. An all-new premiere, Sunday, November 10th at 8 on Hallmark Channel, the heart of Christmas.
I remember seeing the trailer for this one on Hallmark and instantly wondering how she could possibly end up at the wrong house. Surprisingly, the movie does a pretty good job selling how Alice could find herself in such a very merry mix-up. The mistake only lasts about a day, even though the movie somehow makes it feel much longer. I'm still not sure whether Alice is just a little ditzy or if she truly has no idea what's going on.
Wow, a Christmas tree. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Well, it's fake,
Oh,
but I did buy a bottle of blue spruce scented deodorizing spray.
don't you just think of everything? It's perfect.
Alicia Witt is one of my favorite Hallmark actresses. It's a shame we haven't seen her in one of these movies in the past 6 years because I always look forward to whatever she was doing each Christmas season. When I meet someone who's never watched a Hallmark Christmas movie, this is one of my first ones I recommend. It's cheesy, but come on, don't you kind of want to spend Christmas with the good Mitchell family?
A Very Merry Mix-Up, one of my favorites. This movie is unhinged in the best way. I mean, it's bonkers. This movie has Alicia Witt at her very best. We get a car crash, we get potential head trauma, and the leads are falling in love with one another, even though the leading lady is engaged to the guy's brother. Bonkers.
Watching her wind up at someone else's home instead of being in the one that she's supposed to be, it played out really well. you could tell that she felt very at home with the wrong family, which kind of tells you that she was with the wrong guy the whole time.
What about Christmas stockings? Do you have one? Because I could make you one. If not, it's not that hard at all. It's just some felt, some glue.
First, we'll make snow angels for 2 hours, and then we'll go ice skating.
Oh, what about Christmas peanut butter fudge? You think your parents would like that? I have this new recipe. I'm dying to try it. Oh.
And then we'll eat a whole roll of Toll House cookie dough as fast as we can, and then, to finish, we'll snuggle.
The fact that Alicia Witt's character didn't exactly catch on to her fiance not even being part of this family, the sudden realization that she was like horror struck, for me it was a funny moment, but I'm sure it was supposed to be taken a different way, but it was still really, really funny.
Yes, a very merry mix-up. This one I know because it was one of the first Hallmark movies I ever saw, and one of my wife's coworkers had seen this one and really loved it, and so I kind of started talking to her about it, and then because of that, her husband and I grew really close. He became one of my best friends, so this one has like huge sentimental value for me. But I mean, it's got Alicia Witt, you know, the little girl from Dune. She was in Sybil. She's just like this great presence that people honestly just have kind of overlooked. But it's just, you know, the classic romantic comedy with mistaken family. I mean, it's warm, it's funny, and it's charming. So this is one I can revisit every Christmas season. And honestly, I probably would have scored this one quite a bit higher.
We never got a sequel to A Very Merry Mix-Up, but here are my proposed sequels to make this a very merry trilogy. A Very Merry Wedding Mix-Up finds Alice accidentally marrying the wrong man, whose name is also Matt and coincidentally is also macrobiotic. Luckily, they get their marriage annulled, and we get the third movie in this trilogy with A Very Merry Baby Mix-Up, where the hospital accidentally switches Alice and Matt's baby with another. This one gets a bit dark, and his grandpa says, "This is weird."
Yeah.
24. Christmas Above the Clouds. When ruthless workaholic CEO Ella Neeser takes a flight to Australia, she finds herself on a flight of redemption. Visited by the spirits of past, present, and future, she's Christmas caroled into confronting her life choices, including a reunion with her ex-fiancé Jake, played by Tyler Hynes. I've seen countless interpretations of A Christmas Carol over the years, but this is the first one set entirely on an airplane. And honestly, it's a refreshingly fun twist on a story that's been retold hundreds of times. Hallmark has reimagined Dickens before, but this is easily their best take. The ghosts of Christmas past, present, and yet to come appear as flight attendants and the airline captain, whisking Ella off the plane to revisit her life. They use everything from safety wands to seatbelt demos to shift between the scenes. It's a clever touch, and it fully commits to the airplane theme. The film also tosses in some pop culture nods like Oliver Twist, Please Sir, May I Have Some More gag, and other Dickens Easter eggs.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
More?
Math problems.
Oh.
Hey, Fran, now's not a great time.
And Mary, it is the best of times.
It's the worst of times.
During the Christmas charades moment, the movie confirms that Batman Returns is indeed a Christmas movie.
On ice. Time's up.
Batman Returns. Obviously.
Wasn't it supposed to be a Christmas movie?
It is a Christmas movie.
But my favorite pop culture moment is the callback to It's a Wonderful Life, where in the future, Jake is working as a librarian, like Donna Reed.
He's a lonely librarian? Like Donna Reed? No. No, this is too awful. Take me somewhere else. Anywhere but here.
Though the movie belongs to Aaron and Tyler, the supporting cast deserves credit. Emily Tennant, who's headlined her own Hallmark film, is fantastic as Bobby Cratchit. Her character is stuck working through Christmas, missing time with her son Tim, who's sick and is unexpectedly dressed like he wandered in from the 1920s, hat and all. I did question what Jake ever saw in Ella. She's an awful person, but love is love. I mean, he is so heartbroken that he refuses to date another woman again. Aaron Krakow and Tyler Hynes have been paired together in other Hallmark movies. They have amazing chemistry together, and by the end of this movie, you realize why Jake waited for her. Luckily for him, the spirit of Christmas stepped in to help.
Today.
God bless us, everyone.
Christmas Above the Clouds. Well, you've got Peter Benson directing, which, in my opinion, you can't go wrong. And then you've got your leads, Aaron Krakow, Hallmark leading lady legend, especially with the Hardys. And then you've got Tyler Hynes, again, Hallmark leading man legend. And you've got a modern twist on A Christmas Carol, which is also something that, yes, has that story itself, or that sort of plot, has been done and done and done again. But this one really gave it a fresh take, especially with putting Aaron Krakow, this beloved sort of angel of Hallmark, and making her sort of the villain, which was a very bold and gutsy choice, but it works so well. And then therefore you realize how talented Erin is and how only she could pull that off. Because she's so beloved, you still, like, you hate her in the beginning, but you still kind of like her. And then when you see her character come full circle, it just makes you love her even more. And having Tyler in there, this was also a bold choice. He's not, I mean, he's the leading man, but he's sort of a secondary character. He's not getting as much screen time as Aaron. But this was the big deal because you have Aaron and Tyler reuniting after, of course, It Was Always You. So everybody kind of got the reunion they'd been asking for in a really fun, modern way. And this is one that I didn't hear a lot of people have bad things to say. So again, Peter Benson, Aaron Krakow, Tyler Hynes, I'm there.
23. Window Wonderland. Chloe, a department store window decorator, applies for her dream job, window dressing at McGuire's department store. But she quickly learns that her biggest rival, Jake, is also after the position. Rather than choosing the best person for the job, manager Mr. Fish decides to have them compete for it. Whoever creates the window display that draws the most attention from passerbyers gets the job. Do you remember the first time we saw Paul Campbell in a Hallmark Christmas movie? Believe it or not, that was 13 years ago. I remember watching Window Wonderland when it premiered, and even though I didn't know who he was at the time, I could already tell he was something special to Hallmark. Starring opposite him is Kyler Lee as Chloe. Kyler has been in plenty of movies and TV shows I've watched over the years, and I'll admit I had a bit of a face blindness with actors, and I didn't realize until I rewatched Winter Wonderland that Kyler, who plays Kat Landry on The Way Home, was Paul's co-star in this one. Their chemistry really makes the movie work. Chloe is organized, driven, and always planning ahead, while Jake is spontaneous. He's laid back, and he tends to wait until the very last minute. They're the total opposites, but together they work so well. Their chemistry is what makes this 13-year-old movie still so memorable for Hallmark fans, and why it easily earns a spot on this list.
Window Wonderland, where have you been my whole life? I had no idea this 2013 masterpiece existed until I did a ranker of the 10 most underrated holiday movies, and followers just flooded my comments with this one. I watched it and was blown away. Paul Campbell is magnificent in every way that Paul Campbell always is, but Tyler Lee, she was absolutely adorable with her short hair, and she's amazing in it. And this has surprised me because I'm really not a fan of Kat in The Way Home, and that's what I had to base it off of. Watch this one, you won't be disappointed, promise.
This is an iconic introduction to Paul Campbell. It features mall shenanigans. It's all about Christmas windows, which is something that is just so quintessentially Christmas. You can only make this movie on Hallmark at Christmas time. And that is why it fills you with the warm and fuzzies, and it just feels like Hallmark. Yes, we have enemies to lovers, and all of that is great. We have secrets, we have families, we have twists, but really it's just, who else is gonna make a movie about decorating Christmas windows? Nobody. And that's why we love them.
Window Wonderland, to me, is in my top 5. It really should be higher on this list. Paul Campbell starring as a would-be window dresser, and who else is in this? Naomi Judd. Yes. We had Cameron McIntosh was in this film. And, oh God.
I am Kyler Lee.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, when you're watching it, it was like they were peeling an onion. And you're just a gasp throughout the movie of, like, because they were unveiling all these little nuggets, and it was
This
Christmassy.
This one was not your typical Hallmark film. They did not throw everything in your face. They revealed everything slowly. You're peeling an onion, getting a layer after layer after layer, and then finally it culminates with love was there all along.
And it was a turducken. And who doesn't like turkey, deep fried, and Dunkin' Donut batter?
A turducken.
22. Sealed with a list. Carly, played by Kate Findlay, forces her boss to let her go from her job and conquers her list of abandoned resolutions from last year. With the help of her co-worker Wyatt, she finds love, discovers herself, and finds the confidence to chase her dreams. Every Christmas season, there are a few movies from the synopsis you think are just going to fall into that okay category of Hallmark films. Sealed with a List didn't feel like anything special, but in 2023, it was the surprise hit of the season, and I did not see it coming. I've already talked about my love for Kate Findlay. Their performance in the 5-Year Christmas Party was great, but I think Sealed with a List is her best film. Her chemistry with Evan Roderick, who were both new to Hallmark that year, had genuine chemistry together. Their dialogue and flirtations are why this movie works. Their characters were attracted to each other. Sealed with a List doesn't rely on the tired Hallmark tropes of a baking contest or planning an event storyline. What we get are two great actors portraying people working on themselves, only to find that they work together better than single.
Sealed with a List is a perfect holiday Christmas movie that completely sailed under the radar. Both Katie Findlay and Evan Roderick are sensational. This is an example of the tricky enemies to lovers trope done right. They start out with just the right amount of tension, but it's not so much that you never would believe that they actually could fall for each other. And I am going to go back to it. Findlay and Roderick are just two of the best young Hallmark actors going.
Starring Evan Roderick and Katie Findlay, so you already know that you basically cannot go wrong. Hallmark took these hot young actors, literally the best young actors that they have right now, and they put them on a script that was new and inventive, and yes, it was not Christmas, not even a little bit. This is a New Year's movie through and through, but whatever, I will let it slide because it rocks. And they showed that Hallmark can appeal to younger demographics if they just let themselves have fun.
21. 2 Turtle Doves. Nikki DeLoach plays Dr. Sharon Hayes, a neuroscience in the running for the prestigious McAdams Fellowship. But her life is suddenly upended when her grandmother passes away. Returning to her grandmother's home, she meets neighbor Sam, played by Michael Rady, and his daughter, Michaela, who are both still struggling with the loss of Sam's wife and Michaela's mother. With their help, Sharon begins revisiting Christmas's past and decides to take on the 12 days of Christmas traditions in her grandmother's memory. For as long as Nikki DeLoach has been on Hallmark, I've always associated her with the movies that pull at your heartstrings and try to make you cry. And this one puts up a good fight. Hallmark hits every emotional beat here. You get a woman dealing with grief, a motherless child, lost ornaments, treasured Christmas traditions, and that painful realization that Christmas may never feel quite the same again. This is the best of the Nikki DeLoach Dead Grandparent trilogy, and it's often one of the movies I recommend to people who have never seen a Hallmark film. Why? Because it's packed with Christmas traditions and leans into so many of the Hallmark tropes that we love, but without feeling stale or overdone. It feels familiar in the best way, and is anchored by a really strong performance from Nikki DeLoach.
Okay, this is my favorite drama of this bunch. The rom-coms are usually, I think, where they have a better shot at hitting the targets they want to get to. But being, dramatic, being moving and tender, a tougher go sometimes for Hallmark movies. But this film, I think, really nails it. We've seen a gajillion movies where Nikki DeLoach has a dead relative. It's become kind of a running joke on Deck the Hallmark. But here, I think it really is beautifully portrayed, not just her relationship with, her grandmother who has left her this house, but also Michael Rady as her attorney and his daughter and their feeling of loss from having lost Michael Rady's wife, the young girl's mother. I don't think that Hallmark movies are great at taking grief seriously. It's kind of a bummer topic for a Christmas movie. And so a lot of times, yes, we'll get dead parent, as kind of a plot point, but this movie really digs into how sad Christmas can be for some people, because it's a reminder of who's not there anymore, who used to make this holiday special, who is now no longer with us, and that absence can be keenly felt. And I think you can feel that absence and still enjoy the season and still find joy and let that memory be not one that's strictly painful, but loving and reminding you of all the wonderful things that person brought into your life and brought to your Christmas. And Two Turtle Doves, I think, nails that in a really sharp way. The characters are smart and competent career people. I mean, Nikki DeLoach is playing a neurobiologist, for God's sake. And yeah, I think this movie absolutely delivers, has some really great acting and some really poignant scenes. The smartest almost kiss I've ever seen in one of these movies as to why they don't actually kiss, that feels like they're taking these characters seriously as grown adults. Yeah, I can't recommend this one highly enough. Check out Two Turtle Doves.
We're nearing the end of this countdown with 20 movies left to go. Stay tuned as we continue to count down the top 100 Hallmark Christmas movies of all time. Be sure to click on that subscribe button so you'll be notified when the next video is released. Do you agree with my picks, or do you think I've got something wrong? Well, then let me know in the comments below. I'm sure you will. I'm the Christmas aficionado, and remember, stay off the naughty list.